Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Unconventional Attorney Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Small, and I am the Unconventional Attorney. Today, I'm excited to bring you another Attorney X episode. If you are unfamiliar with this, I am basically interviewing anonymously law firm owners from around the globe to find out what's working for them, the kind of revenue that they're really making, the kind of challenges that they're really facing, and uncovering all of the things that they are afraid to expose out there in the real world under their own names. Now, the only way that I can continue to have these interviews is for law firm owners just like you to come on the show. We all get to learn from the information and the experiences we share, and this is my call to action for you to come and join me as an Attorney X guest. It's very simple. It's 20 minutes. And if you come on, I give you a free t-shirt that you can't get anywhere else. So if you walk around and you see people wearing Attorney X t-shirts, it's because they have taken the plunge and they are Attorney X alumni. To sign up is very simple. All you have to do is go to theunconventionalattorney.com/Attorney X. You can pick a date and time that work for you, and when that date and time come, we'll chat. Okay, so that's theunconventionalattorney.com/Attorney X. Go and schedule your date today so we can keep up this really cool deal that we've got going on. All right, now let's get into the show. Hello, Attorney X, and welcome to the show. Are you ready to tell us all about your law firm?
You're ready to reveal.
Excellent. As a reminder to you and the audience, I ask the same questions to every guest on every show and promise anonymity so we can get the raw truth about your law firm. The goal is for all of us to learn from each other by sharing what's really happening inside of our firms. Are you up for that?
Yes.
Okay, let's get into the show. All right, question number one. How old are you?
49.
All right. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And do you have kids?
2, 10 and 12 years old.
Awesome. How long have you been practicing law?
Almost 25 years.
Okay. What is your primary area of practice?
I do criminal defense and administrative law.
Okay. And what geographic region are you in?
The state of California, statewide California.
Right. Okay, statewide, perfect. Why did you pick your practice area?
Fell into it like so many of us do, kind of one job at a time, and that's really it. When I was in law school, I was interning at a domestic violence clinic, and somehow that felt like criminal law, even though it was the flip of I was helping the victims, but somehow criminal law felt like that. It was emotional and the human drama and dealing with people. And then, as I said, it was just one choice after another that led that way. Being a public defender for a while led me to doing criminal in private because that's all I knew how to do, etc.
Yep, love it. When did you open your law firm?
I went on my own in 2008. No, that's not true. 2004. I went on my own. I'd had a rough year with a couple mismatched employment opportunities and was just pissed. And I was like, I don't want to work for anybody else. I don't want anyone to work for me. I'm a lone wolf, and that's how we're going to do this. And that worked for a really long time. And it worked through my pregnancies and my babies, and being on my own was very helpful. But I did a rebrand and a build 3 years ago. So for the last 3 years, I've actually had staff, and we're growing. Okay. So it's a different model now.
Yeah. So we're going to go off script 1 second, just because I'm interested. But why the rebrand, just real briefly, and then what was that process like? Did you just one day decide, okay, today we're this, tomorrow we're that? Tell me real quickly about that transition.
Yeah. After turning 40 and after practicing about 20 years, those roughly lined up. It was just a transformative time period, and talking to my friends and colleagues, I think that's relevant to a lot of people. And I thought, I don't want to do criminal anymore. I don't want to compete with the guys who don't have families and have marketing budgets and know what they're doing and do big felony cases. That just wasn't my gig. So I thought administrative law, professional license defense, was a great next step. My clients already had the problem. It's like what happens after the dentist gets the DUI and then you represent him in front of the dental board, that kind of thing. And it just made sense. I had been nursing that idea for probably a decade, but I'd been doing those kind of cases, but I wasn't marketing for them. And finally I said, screw it, I'm doing this. And so there was a small 18-month or so window when I went to work for a big firm as their in-house criminal person. But that turned out to be not financially as lucrative as being on my own, believe it or not. So I left them, and that was the time. So you asked, did it happen overnight? Kinda. I left them August 31, and September 1, I opened up as the new brand.
Yep. All right, cool. Awesome. Do you work out of your home, or do you have a traditional office?
Nope. Now I have staff and such, so I have a traditional office.
Okay. Do you bill by the hour or on a flat fee basis?
Flat fee.
And do you have any specific sort of philosophical reason behind that? Is there any reason why you do that versus hourly?
Because I grew up doing flat fee in the criminal world. I don't even want to begin to start doing hourly billables and bills and tracking. No way.
Yeah, I totally get that. What is the size and the positions in your law firm? So who do you have working for you? Like what?
Yeah, there's me, and then there's a young associate. And then I have a couple different admin, and we are kind of an office manager type, and she's really valuable handling the HR and the payroll, and she manages kind of all our vendors is how I say it. And then my husband actually works with us. He manages the marketing vendors, and he deals with them regularly and does in-depth analysis on all the SEO numbers and that kind of thing. My goal is to be the CEO and not being the managing partner. Hasn't happened yet. So right now I spend more time than I like practicing law and supervising my young associate, but as we march along together, she's only been with me 6 months or something. As we march along together, she'll take on more and more of the practice part.
Tell me quickly about your vendors. Like who, you don't have to name specific names if you don't want to necessarily,
Right.
But what are these people that you're using? Who are they?
Right.
Like, what do they do?
Yeah, I have a digital marketing guy. He does all the SEO, PPC, pay-per-click, all of that, and he analyzes my target market. He does a really good job. We've been with him over a year. I have a social media advertising firm that blogs for me and puts posts out on LinkedIn and Facebook and does videos every quarter and then posts them and blasts them. They kind of work hand in hand with my SEO guy. So they'll write a blog post, I'll approve it, or maybe I give them an idea. They like craft it, I approve it, and the SEO guy pushes it out. So there's those two. And then we have payroll, and that's always a hassle. And then we have a bookkeeper. I finally stopped using an Excel spreadsheet. Is that it? Well, of course, there's insurance, but you know how that works. And we're looking into commercial real estate a little bit, and so I'm dealing with that guy. And then I have a business advisor. I don't call him a vendor, but I meet with him twice a month for a few hours a shot and talk to him sporadically in between. So he's a big part of this whole situation.
Okay, great. What was your first hire? Let's talk about your transition forward. What was the first?
Yeah, I hesitate because she switches her title all the time. I guess we call her an office manager, I guess, in common parlance. When I hired her, it was just help me, please. So she was like my kind of my legal secretary, assistant, right-hand person. We worked shoulder to shoulder in a tiny little office that we rented from someone else. We shared the office. We did that for a couple of years, and then we had to hire. I said, I'll hire you as an assistant. So that's how it worked. It was me and then her, and then we hired her an assistant because there was so much little stuff. And then I hired the attorney. So that's how that worked.
Yep, awesome. What was your 2018 revenue?
2018, that was last year. Well, we were just starting, remember, I just rebirthed this in 16,
Sure.
Actually 3 months of 16. So 17, it was just moving along.
Yeah.
Probably in 17, we were like 250,000 last year, maybe 3. This year is more like 360, something like that.
That's awesome. That's good. Congratulations, 3 years. That's really
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
What do you charge per case, like on average?
I actually know this. We looked at everything. I think it's like 2,700
Okay.
per case on average. That's because we do, and I did a lot of traffic back in the day because traffic tickets, because I had the babies and I was doing appearance work and traffic tickets, and it was fine. And then I said, I'm not doing traffic anymore. But then I got this new associate and she goes to court for me. So now I do a little traffic here and there. But those bring the average way down.
Okay, got it. All right. How many hours do you work per week?
You know, it's funny. I knew you were going to ask that, and you probably would share this with me. I never stop working. I'm on the weekends. I'm reading a business book, reading a magazine, Fortune magazine, sitting in front of me on my table here, or the Business Journal, and I'm always doing it. But if you mean in the office,
Yeah, let's talk about like
and
real, like true boots on the ground work. Talking about like obviously you're always probably thinking about stuff. You're always kind of dabbling here and there, but like actual, you're in it. You're working.
and you're talking about the practice of law versus like networking. Because if we add networking in, man, I can have long days, right? I'm
Let's
sure a
break
lot
it
of us
down into
do this.
both. So just tell me without it and with it.
Give me a second. Let's see. Networking a day could be. I have 7 a.m. networking meetings a lot. So maybe I'm out the house at 6:30. I'm doing my meeting till 9, and then I come in the office and I check email, and that takes, depending what's in there, 45 minutes or an hour if I'm actually doing things in response, and then dealing with the associates' questions. And if it's Monday, that's our team meeting day. So I'm talking to the staff all day long, one way or another. And then we have evening networking things on occasion. I try not to do it all the time because it's like, am I not going to see my kids at breakfast and dinner? So
Right.
we try to break that up. But hours, it's funny. I hold it that like I have a really sweet life and I don't work a ton of hours, but in truth, I work a lot of hours.
Probably just doesn't feel like work though, right?
No,
when you're doing your
it
thing,
doesn't.
it's not as bad. That's for sure.
Right. That's my vague answer for you.
Yeah. All right. That's good enough. I'll take that. How do you get the majority of your clients? And let's talk about just your perfect client. How do you get the majority of those people?
It's either the online stuff, like they hit the right blog posts and they're like, oh, you're for me, or referrals from other attorneys.
Okay. And is that what when it comes to networking that you're talking about, is that mostly with other attorneys and things like that? Like what are the networking activities that really work for you?
It's a group of trusted advisors, basically they call it. And that's not the name, but that's what it is. And heavy in attorneys. And so I'm the only one in the group, and it's a very large group. I'm the only one who does what I do as far as the administrative stuff. And so I'm training them that if you hear a nurse with a problem, a doctor with a problem, to send them to me. So I've been getting a lot of referrals from them.
Cool. Is this so obviously these aren't all the form questions. Is this a group that somebody in the group created? Or is this a
It's a professional thing. We pay dues and stuff. Like somebody created it once upon a time. It's big now though.
Is it okay? Is it only California? I'm
no.
Okay.
Well, I haven't told you the name. I'm being sly. But
right.
No, there's branches, and I know there's Boston. They just opened Atlanta. There's Chicago.
Okay.
But it's all up and down California.
All right. I won't make you tell me the name. But everybody just
later
Google around, huh?
Later.
Yeah, Google around for these things, and maybe you can find them. Okay. So part of the next question really was tell me more, which we just did. What's your biggest challenge right now?
Being a CEO, listening. Swear to God, I know that sounds like not a big thing, but I want to spoon feed my associate. She and I just talked about this yesterday. I want to tell her, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then she goes and does it. But that's not going to free me at all. And I rush to action. I'm quick. I'm decisive. That's good and it's bad. And so the challenge is to slow down, get readbacks from her, make sure she understands what I'm asking her to do. Not take the work away from her and correct it, but ask her to do it herself. So management I never grew up, I was always a lone wolf, like I said. So managing other people is challenging.
Are
Mm.
you doing anything specifically to sort of work on that
Yeah.
skill, hone that
Uh,
skill? Like, what are you doing?
yeah. Well, my business advisor talks to me about it a lot, and then I read a lot of books. I'm reading The Road Less Stupid by Keith Cunningham. That's been interesting. I'm reading, gosh, I keep getting the message to listen. I'm listening on the audiobook. What is that one called? Don't Split the Difference. It's a hot business book right now. I'm going to actually Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss.
Never.
Negotiating as your life depended on it. And he talks
Oh yeah.
about listening.
Yep.
And I'm telling myself all the time, don't make assertions, ask questions. It's just changing who I am. I wasn't wired this way. A lot of us attorneys, I mean, this is so common. This is so Michael Gerber E-Myth, what I'm saying, but we're wired to be attorneys. We're not wired to be business owners. And being a business owner means you got to manage people.
Right. And I think part of it too is coming to grips with the idea that somebody else can do the job maybe as good as you,
Right.
and that also they may do it just a little bit differently than you. Like they may get to the finish line
Yeah.
by taking a different route. But
Yeah.
it's still okay, even though it makes you queasy inside when he's, like even for me, I'm just like, hey, I want you to do it this way. Like, this is the best way, but sometimes it's not. That's hard to get around.
Right.
For sure.
And another good one is Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz.
Yep.
And I just heard him talk the other day on Clockwork, and it was very inspiring. And he talked about you have, he looks at, on a continuum, doing is the bottom of the four. So doing, deciding, delegating, design. Doing, then next is deciding, next is delegating, next is design. I want to be all design. Fridays are my design day, but I can tell you I've already been doing a bunch of stuff today, paying invoices, et cetera, et cetera. I hang out in deciding. That was the second to the bottom. I hang out in deciding way too much. I need to delegate to my associate instead of deciding everything for her.
Yep.
So that's one of my biggest problems.
Yeah. It's also, though, one of the things I always talk about is, when it comes to your business, you're only like, what, 2.5, 3 years in, right? Your business is still like a little baby business,
This business, but
yeah.
I did the other one for, I ran it by myself forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. 3 years.
It takes a little bit of time to grow into those things when you have new people coming in and do those things, I always want to try to go fast, as fast as possible. What's your big goal in the next 12 months?
Increase my revenue. I have a specific number, like percentage, but increase my revenue and get our staff straightened out. We think we need this intake specialist to manage the phone calls, but we don't have enough leads to justify hiring someone.
Yeah.
And so somebody else is doing the job, but they're not doing it fully because they're spread thin. And I'd like to,
What sort of
as a domino, right? I'd like to have enough leads to justify a full time so that they can work the phones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, it's chicken and egg for sure.
Yeah.
What if you can pinpoint sort of maybe like a top one or two things, do you think are going to allow you to get to your goal, to allow you to achieve it? Like, there's that old saying, like, you do the same thing, you're going to get the same results. Are you doing anything differently? Are you planning to do anything more than you're doing to get to that place in the next 12 months?
Yeah, speaking gigs. That's what I think. I need to get out and speak to large groups of people. And then what I tell myself, well, first, it's intimidating. So it's easy to put everything else in front of that goal. Mm-hmm. And second, I'm like, well, I need somebody to book the gig. I need somebody to make the speaker sheet. Am I supposed to do all that? And I have all this baloney. I tell myself to not do it because I'm afraid,
Yeah.
But that is, that would be a game changer, I think.
Yeah.
That's my biggest one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. How long did it take you to start to feel like you had established something secure in your business, where you stopped thinking so much about like, is this thing going to crash, and more about how am I going to grow? How are we going to like really take this where I want to go?
I'm very optimistic, and maybe to a fault. I never really thought it was going to crash. Also, I'd stumbled along, like I said, for like 15 years before I redesigned this thing, and I never crashed then, and I was all alone. So I figure, well, it's only better now because I have people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. That's perfect. Yeah, that's a great answer. Okay, so in thinking about though that, was there anything that got you to that mindset? Was there anything in your business where can you pinpoint any time where you thought to yourself like, um, this is working? Like, does that make sense? And maybe you just always thought it would work, right? Maybe there was no time.
Yeah, I mean, I could cut that both ways. I could tell you, I'm not sure it's working right now. Like the phone hasn't rung very much, and I'm still having to pay everybody, and
Yep.
that causes concern. But it ebbs and flows. I don't want to get too excited about a slow November when I had a really hot July.
Sure. Yep.
I will
Perfect.
tell you something. I don't know if this answers that question, but I read a book called Built to Sell by John Warlow, and it talked about um, building your business to sell it. And that filter has made a big difference, because whether or not I ever sell this firm, building it with the idea that I have to have solid foundations and systems and get myself out of it has made a big difference in every aspect. Like I didn't name the firm after myself.
Yep.
I'm not telling you the name, but it's not after
Right.
me. And yeah, and having my goal be, I'm I want to run this business by report. I want to be owner independent, and it's not now, but that's a goal. So that makes a big mind shift difference.
Oh yeah, I love that book. It's one of my top. I think it's one of my top 10
Mm-hmm.
books. It's a fantastic book. Okay, so last question: what is your best piece of advice for all of the other law firm owners that are out there listening to us right now?
Get help. And I don't mean staff, I mean get help. We don't know what we're doing, and we're too entrenched in the day to day, and we don't have the 30,000-foot view. And there are people out there who know what they're doing, like you, Chris Small, with your business, and other. I just joined a group similar that helps attorneys. We don't have to name names, but there's so many of them out there. Get help. That's my best piece of advice. Pay
Okay.
the money.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for your time and your transparency, and welcome to the Unconventional Attorney Alumni Association.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's a wrap, everybody. Thanks again for listening. I really appreciate your time and attention. And a reminder, if you want to keep the Attorney X series going, there's only one way to do that: to get more of you on the show. To schedule a time to talk with me, talk about your firm anonymously, and get that free t-shirt, go to theunconventionalattorney.com/attorneyx. That's theunconventionalattorney.com/attorneyx. Can't wait to have you on the show. See ya.